In the frozen wilderness of Siberia, scientists discovered the body of a 39,000-year-old baby mammoth whose blood was still preserved inside its body. High in the mountains of Europe, they found the 5,000-year-old frozen traveler, whose remains still showed the fear and pain of his final moments. And beneath the deadly Arctic ice lay long-lost historic ships that remained hidden for centuries, until ancient local legends finally led explorers to them. Most people think glaciers are nothing more than giant masses of frozen water, but in reality, they are the world's largest and most mysterious natural vaults. When glaciers melt, they don't release only water. They reveal priceless treasures worth millions of dollars, centuries-old mysteries, and discoveries that completely change our understanding of history. Welcome once again to another fascinating story. In 2013, a French mountain climber was hiking on the glaciers of Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in Western Europe. While walking across the ice, he noticed a small metal box frozen inside the glacier. What surprised him most was the label on it, "Made in India." Curious, he carefully opened the container. Inside were more than 100 precious gemstones, including brilliant emeralds and rubies. Investigators later discovered that the jewels had belonged to Air India Flight 101, which had crashed into Mont Blanc in 1966. Despite years of investigation, the original owners could never be identified. According to French law, the treasure, worth approximately $340,000, was divided equally between the mountain climber who found it and the local authorities. As a result, the climber received nearly $169,000 simply because the melting glacier revealed a secret that had remained hidden for almost half a century. In January 1986, fierce icy winds swept across James Ross Island in Antarctica. Two Argentine geologists, Eduardo Olivero and Roberto Scasso, were collecting rock and soil samples to study the region's geology. One day, Olivero noticed something unusual sticking out of a frozen rock. At first, it looked like an ordinary stone, but as he moved closer, he realized it wasn't a rock at all. It was a fossilized bone. The scientists carefully removed the surrounding ice and frozen soil. Soon they discovered that it wasn't just a single bone. An entire dinosaur skeleton was buried beneath the ice. Excavating fossils in Antarctica is extremely difficult. Heavy machinery cannot be used, and researchers only have a few weeks each year when the weather is warm enough to work. Because of these harsh conditions, it took 10 years to recover the entire fossil. Finally, in 2006, scientists confirmed that the remains belonged to a new species of armored dinosaur known as Antarctopelta oliveroi. It became the first dinosaur ever discovered in Antarctica. The dinosaur had lived about 70 million years ago, during a time when Antarctica was not a frozen desert, but a lush, green forest filled with life. Most people believe that gold can only be found deep inside underground mines. However, melting glaciers have revealed a surprising secret. Scientists believe that during the last ice age, massive glaciers scraped gold-bearing rocks from mountains and carried them over long distances. As the glaciers moved, pieces of gold became trapped inside the ice. Today, because of global warming, these glaciers are melting and releasing gold deposits that have remained frozen for thousands of years. Researchers believe that as the ice continues to melt, even more gold could be exposed. This means that someone lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time could discover a fortune hidden beneath the ice. In the frozen wilderness of Siberia's Yuka region, hunters searching for ancient mammoth tusks made an extraordinary discovery. While digging through the frozen ground, they uncovered what appeared to be the body of a young animal. As they carefully removed the surrounding ice, they realized they had found a perfectly preserved baby woolly mammoth. The mammoth still had its golden fur, soft foot pads, and even a trunk that looked almost alive. The frozen ground had protected it for nearly 39,000 years. Scientists later named the mammoth Yuka. When researchers examined the body, they made an astonishing discovery. Instead of finding only dry bones, they found well-preserved blood inside the animal. Further research revealed that mammoths may have possessed natural antifreeze-like substances that helped them survive the harsh Ice Age climate. In 2019, scientists were even able to recover living cells from some of Yuka's preserved tissues. Today, researchers continue studying its DNA in the hope of learning more about mammoths and, perhaps one day, helping revive this extinct species through advanced biotechnology. Number 3, in 1958, a Soviet Antarctic expedition made an incredible discovery beneath the ice. Under nearly 600 meters, 2,000 feet of solid ice, they found an enormous mountain range now known as the Gamburtsev Mountains. Stretching for about 1,250 kilometers, 776 miles, with peaks reaching nearly 3,390 meters, 11,120 feet. The range is comparable in size to Europe's Alps. For millions of years, these mountains have remained completely hidden beneath Antarctica's thick ice sheet. Even today, scientists know surprisingly little about how they formed, because they are so difficult to study. In Montana, USA, there is an unusual glacier known as the Grasshopper Glacier. Unlike ordinary white glaciers, this one appears gray because it contains the frozen bodies of millions of ancient grasshoppers. Scientists believe that centuries ago, an enormous swarm was flying over the Rocky Mountains when a powerful snowstorm suddenly struck. The insects were trapped in the snow and eventually became frozen inside the glacier. When geologists examined the insects in the early 1900s, they discovered that they belonged to the Rocky Mountain locust, a species that later became extinct after its breeding grounds were destroyed by farming. When most people think of mummies, they immediately imagine the ancient pharaohs of Egypt. But in 1991, an incredible discovery in the European Alps shocked the entire world. In 1991, two German hikers discovered a frozen human body in the Alps, near the border between Austria and Italy. Scientists soon realized that the body belonged to Europe's oldest known natural mummy. The man became known as Ötzi the Iceman and had lived about 5,000 years ago. DNA analysis showed that he was descended from early farming communities that had migrated from Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. Researchers also discovered that he was lactose intolerant and suffered from several illnesses, including Lyme disease and arthritis. He was found exactly as he had died, carrying a bow, arrows, a dagger, and other equipment. Today, Ötzi is preserved in a museum in Italy, where thousands of visitors come every year to see one of the world's most remarkable archaeological discoveries. I hope you enjoy our video. Please like and subscribe our channel, The Answer for our lastest video.